Hello everyone, Super Duper Boy here, and I'm finally going to be reviewing the last two episodes of Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 11 and 12, with spoilers for both. So, starting off with the first one, Shattered. This episode is the one we've all been waiting for, where Order 66 is executed. I love how many connections there are to Revenge of the Sith. Like when Ahsoka speaks to the Council, it's right after the scene in Revenge of the Sith. If she was a few seconds earlier, she could have spoken to Anakin. And another obvious connection is the scene where Anakin turns to the dark side and Ahsoka senses it through the Force. It was pretty cool hearing Hayden Christensen Anakin in the Clone Wars, and we gotta appreciate that they put unlimited power into the show. Now, though, I have to talk about Order 66. The scene where it's executed is honestly just perfect. I really like how Rex tries to resist it at first, and he mentions Fives. This episode has some great connections to the Fives Order 66 arc. Of course, Rex isn't able to resist it forever though. I had thought that he took out his inhibitor chip. I was surprised that he still had it in him. My guess is that he tried to get it out, but the Republic did not let him. But anyways, after that, Ahsoka dodges and blocks the bullets like crazy. I like how the room is filled with smoke, and then in A New Hope, the blaster lasers created smoke, so I'm glad they brought that back. But my favorite aspect of the scene is the music. They use an altered version of a theme from Revenge of the Sith that is called I'm So Sorry. It's so awesome that they used music from the movie. It makes it feel way more connected. Now that was a lot to say about one scene, but it just really is so good. Some of my favorite moments after that include Maul's rampage. It's like a prequel version of Vader's hallway attack in Rogue One. And when he slices that clone's arm off with the door, it was absolutely brutal. Star Wars Galaxy really needs safer doors. I also find it interesting that Ahsoka was willing to unleash Maul because she must have known that he's going to kill some clones. But it does make sense. She has to do what she has to do to survive. Speaking of Ahsoka, I really like how her droid, R7A7, makes a return. He was in the Ryloth arc and showed up in a couple other episodes, but bringing him back really does make a good connection to Season 1. R7 is the last character I thought would make a return, but him and the other droids make a good addition to the story, like when R7 gets in the way of Rex. Honestly, it's weird seeing a sort of evil Captain Rex. Of course, he's just being controlled and is a victim, but it's still crazy that he's trying to kill Ahsoka. But luckily, he gets the chip taken out. I like how Ahsoka says, I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me. It's another great connection to Rogue One, and it's something that it seems all the Jedi say. The one thing, though, I was not a big fan of in this episode is when Rex shot the clones to save Ahsoka. I understand he wanted to help her, but why did he just set his blaster to stun? It just seems a little out of character for him to kill his own brothers when he can just stun them. But that's the only issue I have with this episode, so I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's a very intense yet sad episode, but Episode 12 might even be sadder. I was hoping for a 40-minute finale, but honestly, I'm happy it was just 23 minutes. It's the perfect length. This episode is just a great finale for the series. It's very intense because even though we know Maul, Rex, and Ahsoka live, we still aren't sure how they'll escape. This episode has some great action as well. We get even more of Maul killing clones when he destroys the reactor. There's some great Force scenes, including when Ahsoka pulls the ship back. I like how she decides to save Rex instead of stopping Maul. Of course, I gotta talk about Jesse. It's interesting how he's basically the main villain of this episode, and there's a lot of irony when he's going to execute Rex for treason, because the same thing was going to happen to Jesse in the Umbara arc. Him, along with the other clones, just have no mercy. R7 and the other droids get executed. It was very sad when that happened. I like how Ahsoka protects Rex while he stuns the clones. It's a pretty cool strategy. And it's simply awesome when Ahsoka was jumping on the broken off parts of the ship trying to get to the Y-Wing. I think one of the best scenes in any of the new episodes though is when Rex and Ahsoka talk before entering the hangar. It's so sad that Rex is willing to kill the other clones, and when you see him crying, it's just really sad. He's lost so many of his brothers in this war, and now they've turned against him. Jesse ends up dying as well. Ahsoka buries him and the other clones. The Venator falling and all the clones dying is symbolic of how the Republic has fallen as well. This episode also has some of the best music in the whole series. Most of the new music is sad, but there's no happy way to end this show. And the last scene I need to talk about is Darth Vader at the end. Even though we can't see his face, it seems like when he picks up Ahsoka's lightsaber, he's at least a little bit sad about it. And finally, there's a last shot that shows a clone helmet buried in the snow. This is the best shot they could have ended the show on, and it has aspects of what I think are the three most important things in the series. It's obviously a clone helmet, so that represents the clones. It has paint that represents Ahsoka, and there's a reflection of Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker. So yeah, that was the last episode. This arc will be remembered as one of the best Clone Wars stories, and even Star Wars stories. I really think this might have been the best episode in the entire show. So of course, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I've got nothing to complain about. So anyways, that was my final Clone Wars Season 7 review. Crazy to think this started almost 3 months ago. I've enjoyed reviewing these episodes, and I plan on doing more Clone Wars videos in the future. So, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace out.